Oh. Yo. You have a what? Oh, that's mine. Because I played volleyball. It's not closed. My shirt and my pants. Hi.
Oh, I see that he's on there.
All right, everybody should be good here. Now, I want to stop you on 13 for a second. What's the answer? No. How do you make 0.2 of a banner?
Oh, you don't. So
Right. How many banners can you make? 43. What if this was 43.8? Now how many banners can I make? 43. Because you cannot make the 44th banner. Does everybody understand? Okay. Now watch for that, because that's the type of thing that teachers love to do to you. They make choice A on a multiple choice test, 43.2, because that's what's going to be on your calculator, right? And you're going to circle that. Choice D will be 43, and D is the right answer. Okay. Keep your eye on that, especially in this unit when we are measuring. All right. This one, you could have done either one. It doesn't matter. 1,245 meters or 245 kilometers, because they're exactly the same thing. If you're a real, wise ass, you could have done 12.45 hectometers or 124.5 decameters or, 1,245,000 millimeters, because they're all the same number. That's why metric is good. All right. And then same thing here. Oh, 16 I would like to talk about as well, because, whoa there, big fella. 16, when you do the work for 16, I wanted the answer in yards, yes? So the 12 is already in yards. You don't have to worry about 12. So you only got to convert the miles. 4 miles, and I want yards, so it's 1,760 times to get 7,000, whatever it was, like 7,038 or something. I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? 7,000 XXX, because it's 7,000 something. Then you add the 12. And now 13 inches. And I want the answer in yards, yes? How many inches are in a yard? That's feet, 36. So that is 13/36ths of the next yard. Agreed? That's a right answer. A better answer isn't 13 inches 1 foot. So a better answer is 7,000 XXX with the 12, 1 foot, 1 inch, right? Because 12 inches is 1 foot and then 1 inch. Now, if you do this all in your calculator, you're going to get 7,000 and then some decimal garbage. I think it's 0.836. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Is that yards, feet, or inches? It's yards. So you would have to take whatever that decimal is, because that decimal is yards, and then change it to feet, which would be times 3, or times 36 to get it to inches. Everybody cool? We're going to do some more of that today when we work with time, because time is also not metric, right? Everybody's good? Okay. This question always messes kids up too. The first one they have no problem with. 3 feet by 5 feet, they change it to inches. Perimeter, 60 and 60 is 120, 36 and 36 is 72, 120 and 70 is 192. Kids have no problem with that one. But when I change it to this one, the frame is 1 inch thick, you guys often do it wrong because you forget that if the frame is 1 inch thick, it's 1 inch thick this way, and at the top, and out here, and out here. So it's not 60 anymore, it's 61 and 62. And it's not 36 anymore, it's 37 and 38. Okay? That's the type of real life problem that you're facing in the world, right? Somebody says, oh yeah, I got to put a frame around this picture that I got. So, number 19. Number 19 is a problem because of the two things highlighted in blue. Do all of you, any of you, some of you, know what crown molding is? What? Cursil? No, drywall is what your walls are made of. Addison? No, those are crowns. You're right. Yeah. Oh, you said teeth. I thought you said tea, like hello, cheerio. No. Okay, yeah, teeth. No, teeth get crowns. You're right. Crown molding. You see that line of wood up there between the weird stuff and the drywall? Look up in your house. Some of you will have it. It's the line of stuff that goes around between the ceiling and the wall. Yeah. If you don't know what that is, can you answer this question? If you don't know what crown molding is, if you thought crown molding was something to do with teeth, could you answer this question? Right. So, but if you don't know where it goes in the house, like Gersel thought it was drywall, which would mean it would be this whole wall, right? It's not. So the point I'm bringing up here is this is a real life unit, yeah? We're going to be talking about real life things. So if you don't know what something is that different than not knowing the math? Yeah, of course it is. You can't ask me to do the math for you because this is math class, but I'll explain what the stuff is, okay? And the next problem here is linear foot. Most kids are like, a linear foot? What the heck does that mean? Well, you know what something linear means. What's it mean? Straight line, right? So what would you think a linear foot is? A straight foot. We measure our height in linear feet. Because no matter how fat, thin, thick, wide we are, our height is a straight line up the middle of our bodies, yes? So that is something that we measure linearly, right? So what this means, doesn't matter how pretty the crown molding looks, you pay for it by the foot of how far it's going to go around your house. Everybody cool? So when you do the math, the room is measured in inches. So you got to change it to feet, which I did. 185 times 2, because there's two walls that are 185 inches. 240 times 2, because there's two walls that are 240. You get 370 plus 480, which is 850 inches, divided by 12 got me 70.8. Now, it's sold by the foot. So I need to buy how many feet? 71. In this case, we do round up. Everybody understand? It's a real life situation. You got to know what's going on. Now, anybody that's ever built anything, do you buy exactly the amount of materials you need? Of course not. Why? Yeah, because you mess up all the time, right? So you would buy a little extra, but let's pretend we're all perfect, because we are. We're only going to buy 71 feet of it at $379 a foot. Everybody cool? And I believe that's where I asked you to stop, yes? I think so. All right, so today, now, before we do anything new, because what we're doing new is not new, you're going to spend the next 2 days writing your cumulative exam because they're short days. So, as usual, it's an hour-long test that I normally give you 80 minutes for, right? But since this is the really the crux of pre-calc 11, I'm going to make this test slightly more in-depth. Not more difficult, just more questions. Because this cumulative will be what you should use to decide what grade 11 course you take next year. Okay? If you do well on this cumulative, and when I say well, I mean a comfortable B. And when I say comfortable, I mean in the high 70s. Then you can confidently consider pre-calculus 11. Everybody cool? If you get lower than that, then you should consider foundations 11. If you are in the 50s to 60s, you should consider A and W 11. Does everybody understand? All three of those will get you to graduation. And rumor has it, more and more post-secondary educational institutes are accepting A and W 11. 3-4 years ago, they did not. And if you wanted to do any kind of schooling after high school, for anything, you wanted to be a custodian, there's courses to take now. You had to take one of those higher level math courses. Rumor has it that they have relaxed on that, but I do not know because I am not applying to post-secondary educational institutes. Okay, because I'm done. All right, everybody understand? Now, some of you are hearing, oh my God, this is so important. It's going to make such a big difference. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is use this test over the next 2 days to inform your decision for where you choose to go next year. I do not think you have done your course planning yet. I think you will be doing that in February, which is lucky for you people because the hardest decision in grade 11 is what math to take. All the sciences are pretty equal, and there is no comm for English anymore. So the only thing that's leveled and weird is math. So use the next 2 days. That's why I am making a big deal out of this test. Not because I care. I don't like, if you bomb this test, I'm not like, oh, I'm never going to talk to you again, kid. I don't care about that, right? But the reason I am making this one so important and giving you 2 days to do it is because this should be your barometer, okay? And when you do your course planning in early February or late February, whenever the heck we do it in this building, I don't even know because I don't, again, it doesn't affect me. I do not have to choose courses. Whenever we do it, think back to this day, well, not this day, Friday, when you will get that cumulative back. All right? And think about it and make a good choice. Again, it is your choice. But if you show up in my pre-calc 11 class from here and you got 53 on tomorrow and the next day's cumulative, then the 4 words you are going to hear from me are my 4 favorite words in the English language. I told you so. All right? And if you were to graph my sympathy for you, it would not go very high up on the y-axis. Understand? See how I did that? I made a graphing joke right before the graphing cumulative. I know, right? My independent variable, which is the time I give you sympathy, will stretch forever. But how much sympathy you get will not go very high. Okay? Don't make a poor decision. And by the same token, don't sell yourself short and take something that's too low. If you're unsure, then come and talk to me privately. Okay? Everybody understand? All right. So, yes, Addison.
Is there a review for that?
Yeah, it's called that big old book that's in your hand. Because I know for a fact you ain't done every question in it, have you? There you go. Now, next thing is, the next new thing we do, of course, is not new. So I'm going to go into it right now. but it's going to be a few pages later in the book, which you will notice will leave you with a few blank pages, right? When will we talk about those blank pages? Not tomorrow, because you're writing cumulative. Not Thursday, because you're writing cumulative. Friday is when everything we talk about is due. I'm going to finish talking in a moment. It will not take long, because the thing that we are doing that is new is not new. And then I'm going to shut up and allow you to either A, prepare for the cumulative tomorrow. Ask me any questions you want. Look back in your book at old stuff. Ask me about that. Or B, get a good head start on the work that I'm going to give you. Now, it's going to seem like a lot of work because it's a bunch of pages. But you should have noticed by now, almost every one of these questions requires one calculation. So what looks like a lot of work isn't a lot of work, right? Okay. Let us move on then, cabbages, to page 205. You will notice we skipped a lot, but we are on 205 now. This is really the more useful section of this unit because we are converting between systems. And where we live, right attached to the United States, it's very useful to be able to work in both systems. So that's what we're going to work on today. Now, of course, the more astute members of the class will notice that word converting is still there, yes? Well, when you add numbers, does it change when you change the numbers? The principle is still the same, yes? Okay. It's the same thing here. When we were converting within our system, we had an amount to convert, and we multiplied it by what we wanted over what we have. And the nice thing about doing this is when, especially in metric, it was always tens, right? We could almost always do it in our heads, yeah? It's the same thing here, except the numbers are weird now. Now, don't turn back because I'm going to do that for you. If you turn back to page 199, but don't, you will see right here, I have the ones that go back and forth. And you can see it's the exact same scenario, but the numbers are strange. It's not all tens, and it's not all whole numbers. There's decimals involved now, okay? But other than that, it's exactly the same thing. Now, some of you, when you're converting measurements, will screw up. You'll multiply when you're supposed to divide. You'll divide when you're supposed to multiply. And you're going to make silly errors, punch them into your calculator, and then write down the answer that your calculator gives you, even though it is patently ridiculous to write that answer down, and it makes no sense. But you will write it down, and I will say, what? And you will say, my calculator said so. You know, that thing I hate hearing from you more than anything in the world, right? Second only to, I'm so confused. Okay? You're not going to do that because I'm going to give you a way to help you right now. Remember when we did the fraction thing? And I said, do not waste time actually adding the fractions up. What did I say to do? Estimate using numbers that are close, yes? Well, what is awfully close to 1.609? 1.5, right? So 2 miles, 3 kilometers. 3 miles, 4.5 kilometers, right? Because you can do that in your heads. That is what you would do if you were driving in the United States and you want to know how much gas you had left and you had a Canadian car. You wouldn't get out your calculator while you're driving down the interstate, hey, me, or ask your passenger, hey, can you convert 300 miles to kilometers for me, please? I need to know exactly for our gas mileage. No, you wouldn't. You'd guess, right? You'd estimate. What about this one? What would you use there? 1, because a meter is almost a yard, right? Easy peasy. Actually, other way around. A yard is almost a meter. What would you use here? What? Well, I would use 1/3, right? 1 foot is 1/3 of a meter. So 12 feet is about? Yeah, about 4 meters. You just divide it by 3. Okay? And lastly, what would you use there? 2.5, right? 2 inches, 5 centimeters. Easy peasy. Right? Everybody cool? All right. So, when you're doing the actual work in this unit, take 1 second, think in your head, well, miles, kilometers. If I'm going miles to Ks, the number's got to go bigger, so it must be multiply. Right? Everybody cool? Okay. So let's go to where we actually were now. I don't even remember page 205. So it's the exact same move, except the numbers are funky. So bowling lane is 19 meters long. I want that in feet. We're only going to do about 5 of these. I'm going to let you go because you know what you're doing. 19 meters times feet over meters. Where do I get the numbers? From that page 199. 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. Right? So, cancel the 1, cancel the m, and I've got 19 over 0.3048. Yeah? Now, some of you will do 19 divided by 3, and you will think that this answer is 6. But it isn't. It's 19 divided by 0.3, yes? So it's really 19 times 3, which would be 57-ish, right? So you punch that in your calculator, and what do you get? Mm. 62, and I want the nearest foot, so 62 feet. So we guessed 57. Our calculator told us it was 62. Are we happy to write it down? Yes. If we guessed 57 and our calculator said 6, we should look at it again. Everybody understand? Because if you did 19 times 0.3048, you'd get about 6. Everybody cool? All right, let's look at the next one. How many conversions do I have to do in number 2 to answer the question? 1. If I do Hannah to kilometers, I'll know. If I do Farron to miles, I'll know. Which one do you want to do? I don't care. Huh? You want to convert Hannah? So did the other class. Poor Farron. Nobody wanted to work with him. That's hurtful. I see. You don't like this miles. It bothers you. My wife's the same way. I tell her it's like 75 miles. She's like, so what, like 6 days of driving? Like, she's no idea how miles work. Same with temperature. If I tell her we're going to San Diego, it's like 75 degrees. She's like, well, that means the world's on fire. So it's not 75. What does that mean in real numbers? Oh, it's about 21. All right, thank you. It's very funny. Well, funny for me because I live with it. You guys are like, what the hell, you old people? Shut up. You're already said okay boomer 17 times in your heads. Even though, again, I am not a boomer. I'm just old. No, I am not. I am the children. I am a child of a baby boomer, which makes me Gen X, the first true cool generation. Okay, so we're going miles, 62 miles. And what do we want? km over miles, yes? 1.6091. Since the 1 is on the bottom, this is going to be a multiply. And we are going to say to ourselves, okay, self, 62 times 1.5, 62, and half of 62 is 31. So I need a number somewhere around 90, yes? Now we punch into our calculator, and what do we get? 99.76 km. Who drove further? Hannah. Okay. Next question. Alex is 6 foot 2 inches tall. On your driver's license, when you eventually get them, they are going to want your height in centimeters and your weight in kilograms. None of you can do that. So you will go to get your driver's license. You will walk up to the front. They will say, how tall are you? And you will say, 5'9". And they will do this. Hold on a second. And they will bend over to a little card they have by their computer that has conversions. Everybody with me? Now me, being both a wise ass and a math teacher, I went to get my last license, and they said, how tall are you? And I went 176. And they said, wait a second. And whoop. I was like, ha, ha, ha. And they were like, you're a wise ass. Nah. And then they said, what do you weigh? And I went 86. And they went, oh, you got me again. And then she didn't think to do anything else. And then she goes to type in my eye color brown, hair color brown. And I said, whoa, you. Have a look. And she's like, oh, I guess I do need to change that too. So now I'm gray-haired. Even though for $5.99 I could be a brown-haired guy again. But I won't do that because I don't care. Just for men. Box of hair coloring, just for men. It dyes your hair back. I did it 3 or 4 Halloweens ago for one of my costumes. But it was stupid because the hair dye you buy at like Value Village for Halloween washes out in like a day, so no big deal. But it's expensive. Just for men was cheaper. So I'm just going to get that. And I had to have my crappy ass brown hair forever. And people thought I was, people like, oh, you're trying to look young. Somebody even made a snarky comment on my YouTube about it. Of course, they didn't put their name on it because, they're candy asses. But that was part of why I shut down comments on YouTube. Oh, something about hair dyeing, bad words. So, it's okay. Then I came into school the next day. I may be a hair dyeing blankety blank, but at least I'm not a bad word for a woman's vagina. Because, see, I'll say that stuff right to you people. Because I'm not a bad word for a vagina. I don't know why I said woman's vagina. There's no such thing as a man's vagina. Yeah, you can. It's still not an actual vagina. So that's kind of like saying, well, no, because men can't have boobs. Well, I have A cups. I don't know about you. And they're not, Terry Brooks pecs. They're just fat. I wish I had Terry Brooks pecs. If you don't know who Terry Brooks is, he's the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine that can make his pecs bounce. Terry Crews. Damn it, who's Terry Brooks? Oh, he's an author. Sorry. Terry Crews is the guy that makes his pecs bounce. I can only do it when I grab them. But my brother could do that, though, which was difficult for me to deal with. Yeah, sorry, man. What do you want from me? Look, gray hair. All right. So anyway, 177, right? And then, yeah. So we're going to convert this. Now, obviously, you have done the whole whole part of the unit on converting these. So that's just 6 times 12, yeah? And then 2 more inches is what? Because you all know your 12 times table. So what's 6 times 12? No. 72 plus 2?
74.
So I got 74 inches, and I'm converting that to centimeters. So 1 inch, 2.54. So since the 2.54 is on the numerator, I know I'm multiplying, and I know the number is going to get bigger. 74 times 2.54. So I say to myself, 75 times 2 is 150. So I'm going to need a number over 150. So then you go to your calculator and you punch in and you get 188, isn't it? What is it? 187.96. So 188 centimeters. Which is, of course, 1.88 meters. Right? 18.8 decimeters. Right? Point 0.000188 kilometers tall, which of course would be stupid. You would never do that. Maybe next time I go get my license, I'll do that. I'll tell her, how tall are you? I'm 17.7 decimeters tall. And she'll be like, shut up, you idiot. And I'll be like, okay. Anyways. Okay, number 4 has a trick as well. Remember how I said we shouldn't use decimals in imperial measurement, yeah? But sometimes it's okay, isn't it? Like if I said I was 5 foot 6 inches tall. How tall am I? 5'6". How many inches in a foot? 12. And I'm 6 of those inches, which is half. So I'm 5.5 feet tall, aren't I? So sometimes it works, yeah? For feet and inches, it works for 4 values, right? Really easily. 3 inches is 3/12 of a foot, which is 1/4, which is what? In a decimal. 0.25. Because sometimes decimals will help you. The next one that works is 4 inches. That's 4/12, which is 1/3, which is 0.333, right? What about, and then the next one is 6 inches, 6/12, 1/2, 0.5. 8 inches, 8/12, 2/3, 0.67. 9 inches, 9/12, 3/4, 0.75. Everybody understand? Now, could you use that with yards as well? Inches and yards? Yeah, because 12 inches, 1 foot, 12/36, 1/3 of a yard, right? 18 inches, 1.5 feet, half a yard, 18 out of 36. You with me? So sometimes you can use those decimals if they help you out. So do we have one of those situations here? Yeah. So I could, instead of doing feet to centimeters and inches to centimeters and then centimeters to meters, I could just do 11.75 feet right to meters. Because 1 foot is 0.3048, right? And I can go straight in one step. So I say to myself, self, meters are bigger than feet. So my answer is going to end up smaller than feet, right? So I do that math, and what do I get? Somebody should punch this into the calculator because I can't do this in my head. It's 9 buttons. 3.58 meters, yes? How tall is my truck? 3.5. How big is the opening under the bridge? 3.58. Will I make it through? Yeah. Yeah. Is it real close? Yes. Yeah. It'll be 8 centimeters. Because the truck is 3.5 meters tall. The bridge is 3.58 meters tall. So you would get through with that much to spare. Well, I was just going to say, how many of you have driven, all of you, have driven home from Vancouver, and just before you get to exit 66 or 232nd Street, there's that train bridge over the highway. The next time you're coming home or going into Vancouver, have a look at the edge of that concrete and see how important it is to be able to do this stuff while you're actually driving. Because someone's got to pay for all that, right? All right, we all good? All right, now listen to me. This will seem weird. I want up to page 208 done by Friday. Today is only Tuesday. Now, did we leave a couple of pages blank?
Yeah.
So they're part of this. I want all your book filled up to page 208 by Friday. And I am giving you 40 minutes right now to get a head start on that. Okay? Go. You go. Because I can see how dehydrated you are. Yes.